Welcome to Quantum Meets Spirit. These are audio chapters from my book 8. This chapter, Spirit, reflects on forgiveness, faith, and the deeper spiritual perspective that supports long-term healing and growth. Chapter 8. Spirit. Guilt and shame are killers. We all make mistakes, and we need to forgive ourselves and ask forgiveness from others, and only if we know it won't hurt them more, or think we're just being self-indulgent. But in terms of God, the universe, laws of attraction, it all seems a bit vague. But actually the most important aspect of all is to forgive ourselves. We are all beings of light, spirit. We are here in human form for a short time. Whether we come back or need to learn is for you to decide or meditate on. The only thing that is sure is that we are here, and that we are spirit, and we are connected with the universe and its laws in matter and in spirit. Patience, connection with God, and an open mind are all you need. The rest is just faith, or knowing that this is so. In terms of addicts turning their lives around, there is the expression that you have to hit rock bottom first. There are also many versions of hitting rock bottom, and you can do it a few times. Most addicts, each time they relapse badly, they find that rock bottom can get worse and worse. Rock bottom is a falling lift with no basement. You can get off at any time when you realize its direction will continue downwards. I believe in success, nice house, family car, partner, friends. Join in the world, but know that at source we are passing through. A lot of religions say cast off all material and sins of the flesh, which kind of means it's a bit pointless being here in the first place if you're not going to experience anything. The point is that we must experience stuff, but when we indulge, exceed in greed and also become attached to things in a way that defines us, we are headed for a fall at some point. We lose friends, lovers, in death or moving on. Why must they define us so much that when they leave we fall apart? The time together is important, and when we cross over to the spirit realm, you will meet again on another level. The idea of being defined by your car, your job, is also dangerous. I think it's cool to want to progress, get the latest phone or car, or move up the ladder in your job. But when that is all there is, and you don't enjoy the journey, you will run out of things eventually. It's the same with addicts, whether it's drugs, alcohol, donuts, phones, partners. You need to find some peace at some point, else there is never true satisfaction, just greed. As in Shakespeare's Macbeth, vaulting ambition which o'erleaps itself and falls on the other. Don't ask what you will present to God when you die. How about right now? What have you achieved that is worthwhile or cool in God's eyes, if you prefer, in the spirit realm? But again, that's not to say don't enjoy your cars, but also serve, help to do good, without the need for reward or plastering your good deeds all over Facebook. To feel good in serving others is the reward for yourself. That is the commodity or language of the universe. Things happen every day that we pass off as coincidence, déjà vu, a feeling that a family member is in trouble, etc. We mostly just think it's weird stuff and forget about it. On the psychic side of things, we are all capable. We all have on board instructions as spiritual beings. What blocks us is just the cluster of what is labelled as predominantly negative ego and mind constraints to our understanding of the world around us. I think most people almost conveniently dismiss the paranormal for fear of judgment. Right here and now is where everything takes place, and is the door to awareness. The present is like a train station for everything. Our current life in this time and space is the train about to depart from that interdimensional platform. From our specific seat in the train compartment, we view and exist in our lives in this current time-space journey. So whilst we carry on the journey of life, just be aware that we are spirit beings, capable of so much more than just sitting there. Most importantly, taking control and guiding our lives towards the positive with our very own thoughts. Change seats, change the perspective, change your life. Just don't annoy the other passengers. The laws of attraction made simple. Thought with emotional intent plus action equals things we attract. We think, we do, and we create the world around us. Of course, there are many things outside of our control, but essentially we make choices and decide what we do with our lives. Good and bad stuff happens anyway. So what are the laws of attraction on about? We think positive and get positive. Why does it work sometimes and not others? Mostly because we are not always in control of our thoughts or even perceptions. The idea of confirmation bias in psychological terms explains how we see and fit in with the world around us, from social background to country to wealth or poverty experiences we grew up with. That is our core perception or belief system. So we already think and believe in a certain way before even trying to engage new positive thoughts. It's easy to see this with people that are depressed, that then become more depressed, and so the downward spiral goes on. Generally our lives, for most of us, are happy and sad. There is balance. But how do we judge what makes us happy or sad? We succeed and we fail all the time. It's life. But how do you succeed, continue to succeed, and take the failures in your stride as learning obstacles? Well, that is what every self-help book is out there trying to give 5 easy steps to accomplish. Let's simplify. Thoughts plus genuine, repeated, intentional emotion creates things, is the general rule of the laws of attraction. We think generally with regard to what is already happening around us. This then creates core beliefs. The core beliefs are generally reinforced with emotion, depending on the good or the bad experiences we have. And so it follows, as other things unfold, that we start to create a more positive or more negative view on life. Media and a kind of internet voyeurism has perpetuated a more negative view of the human condition. There is much bad in the world, but there is also much good. On a more specific level, what does that world appear to you as? Not ignoring world issues, but what about in your life? Your experiences thus far in your social network, workplace and family? How do you impact your life, or not? And how do you feel about that? In other words, are you doing what you want to do? Achieving what you wanted to achieve? Most of my articles are directed to those people who have escaped or try to escape the clutches of extreme addiction and negative spirals of thought, which lead to depression, anxiety, self-sabotage, even self-mutilation, sometimes suicide, intentional or just accidental overdose. But my belief is that we all suffer in varying degrees the clutches of self-doubt and depression due to not achieving what we thought we could or should. We live in a world where we all want the Ferrari and the castle and the perfect partner. That may exist for a short time for some, but everything changes, and therein is the answer to lasting happiness. An open mind that is constantly learning and understands that we do change and everything around us constantly changes. Are you the same person you were 10 years ago? So now, to what we want or desire. Simply thinking is not enough. We do attract what we think about, with intentional emotion on a consistent level. I am fat and lonely, no one likes me. So if you think that, and other people tell you that, then your thoughts become beliefs, and then you are stuck in a pattern, and your behaviour will perpetuate that life. And someone saying you can think your way out of it will seem absurd. The more interesting thing is that we unwittingly work with the universe all the time. I want or desire something, or want or achieve something. I cannot get it, it's impossible. It is impossible today, and will remain so each day you think about the Ferrari or losing weight, and don't see how it is possible today to start doing something about it today. Want to be fit? Then think, I can go for a walk or a run today. Writer? I can start to write a blog today. Lonely? I can go to a shopping mall and see other people. And then do it. It doesn't matter how small or silly you think this is at first. Do it consistently, and do it with genuine feelings of being happy that you are on your way. Grateful for what you have, that you can do this today. So this builds, in the material way, evidence of moving forward. We need proof, don't we? Once you're in that vibrational frequency of positivity, you will naturally start to think, well, maybe I can look at running a marathon next. That would be awesome. How would that make me feel? and then the visualizing happens naturally, because now it's fun. If you focus on the marathon and it makes you feel like it's impossible, then it will remain impossible. How do we sustain this positive behavior? Most of us don't. We give up after a week, which is why breaking habits, addictions, negative thought patterns is so hard. The results are not quick enough, or evident at all, we think. The most important and essential ingredient, in religious terms, faith, or, in the laws of attraction, belief in the unseen, belief in yourself. And you can amplify your belief in yourself by doing the small things every day. So, a little positive evidence of moving forward, as we move forward, for ourselves, and massive self-belief, visualization to the desired result, which is the goal, which will change as we reach each new goal. The universe will sort the rest. Simple. The amount of faith in a mustard seed moving a mountain thing, as someone very famous said, but he did know what he was talking about. It is also simply knowing that we work with the universal field of attraction. The more you move and think and feel, the more the universe moves and creates for you. It works both ways. So why not try the positive version? It makes life or the journey a whole lot more fun. And when you reach your destination, you will no doubt have a new destination in mind. But the journey was the whole point of it all. Because, as I said, we change all the time. You will never reach your destination as it continues to grow and evolve. When you have your Ferrari, you will want to look after it or get a Lamborghini, metaphorically speaking, if you're not into cars. Just find the moments to be grateful as you move forward. The journey is the destination. Imprintable water. We are 66% water, the brain 95% water. It is clear that water, when subjected to different sounds like music or violent sounds, and then frozen, shows a different type of crystal formation. In addition, we also know that in quantum theory, that molecules change when observed. We live on a plane of vibrations and different frequencies, limited by what we perceive. In other words, we see only a short range of light, although other light frequencies exist. Further to this, some frequencies are so rapid as to make them exist on a different dimension. This dimension exists on one plane or spectrum of frequencies. It's like we exist on one scale of a violin. The next dimension is at the other end of the piano keyboard. Water, it would seem, has already been found to be imprintable, which is where homeopathy comes from. The idea that a small molecule that might be a cure or remedy for an ailment is placed into a larger part of water. In fact, the molecule is a minuscule part of the said medicine. Experiments were conducted where the part ratio of molecule was gradually reduced to actually nothing traceable, and yet the same effect or cure was reached when the molecule was not even present at all. The water in one theory, it would seem, has taken on the property or curing effect of the molecule without the molecule present. So the water has learnt the structure of the molecule, imprintable, as it were. The placebo effect, it would seem, perhaps could be based on the same principle. So the thought or induced knowing that this is the cure with the correct molecule, and then taken over a period of time, it would seem, changes the molecular structure of the placebo medicine to fit with what is the cure. Thus our very observation changes it. So whether it is a case of water being imprinted, where the molecule is supposedly replicated, or the placebo effect, where the patient's mind thinks that this medicine is the cure, and so it becomes the cure. A universal connectivity is at play, as there is no contact, but somehow the mind cures, or finds a cure, or communicates with the field in order to replicate the cure from the medicine taken. In this case, it is not the water being imprintable, but a molecular photocopying across space. In this case, the same applies in repeated learnt behavior by animals, even when that part of the brain is destroyed, or the entire brain. You would think the brain in some form needs to be there, but the intercommunication by some animals takes place in order to perform an already learnt behavior after brain has been damaged or even removed. Even in human behavior, it would seem that once an individual or group understands a behavior or concept to further survival, this behavior or concept becomes a learnt concept at a subconscious learning level by a larger group of the same people, perhaps in close proximity. Thus, energies of a race or culture tend to be the same. You feel different energies or vibrations, good and bad, in different countries or places. And so there is this field outside of the mind, as Deepak Chopra describes it, that indicates a learnt memory or communication. Are we in fact imprintable water? Probably a little more complex. While the neuroscientists cleverly map the 100 billion neurons and 100 trillion synapses of electrical pulses that form the complexity of the brain, it is worth remembering that whilst we are 66% water, only 4% of the known universe is made up of matter that we can see or detect easily, the rest being dark matter and dark energy, the vast space in between space. Huge detection facilities are in some of the most remote parts of the world, attempting to detect neutrinos, subatomic particles. Some scientists believe they may be part of dark matter particles, notably sterile neutrinos, since the other ones are too hot and too fast. The dark matter is in fact the gravitational glue that holds entire galaxies together. The dark energy is the energy that is still expanding our universe. So all this indicates that perhaps rather than a complex set of electrical impulses, our minds, our very consciousness, may be a lot more complex on a subatomic level, where time ceases to exist, and matter is in another form, or dimension in terms of what we can perceive in our limited spectrum of perception. Thus, we can start to open our minds to the fact that it is conceivable, if you have an open mind, scientific or not, that our very essence, the existence of soul, exists in this plane. Final thoughts. We go through so many changes in life, one major one being that we hopefully grow and evolve our thoughts. Our minds are the physical avatar and carrier of our light being. The physical mind is essentially the ego, our self and socially developed paradigms of who we are in the world. And yet the spiritual mind, consciousness, is able to step outside of that and observe that part of the mind. The soul consciousness is the eternal you that is the higher you connected with God. Now I believe that on all dimensions it seems matter is in vibration. So the dimension we exist in vibrates with a certain spectrum of vibration. More basically, matter as we know it is solid to liquid to gas, and our visual spectrum and audio spectrum also lie within small spectrums. So when we listen with our eyes shut, we sense a little of vibrations. If your vibrational frequency sense were acute, you would see everything around you without needing to look. So, even more so, the soul is tuned to the next dimension of frequency. While we live here, we're not able to access that fully. However, angels often communicate with an extreme high-pitched note. It's a download of information from another dimension. When we die, our souls move back into this high-frequency dimension. Time and space do not exist in the spirit realm. Hence, it is the beginning, the middle, and the end. Our time here is to step into time and space reality, but to keep connected to Source, to be part of the world for a short time, but not of it. We are ourselves here and our higher selves observing simultaneously. The mind can't fully comprehend, but the soul, your heart, your true self, can feel that it's true. That is our spirit, which essentially guides our minds and our thoughts. The focus of the mind on the world around us fascinates us. On a quantum level, this means the molecules begin to exist or shape in the particular way we view them. Of course, the world has already taken shape, and we are very small. And yet, on a molecular level, this has been proven, so the idea that consciousness itself is the instrument of creation, at least in a small way, in our own private world, is extraordinary. God is still there, indeed, angels. My view on all this is that we are truly given the ability to create the life we want here, with much guidance from God and angels. We can direct our thoughts, clarify them, and move towards an amazing life. If we choose to create within creation, you can't change the shape of trees, but you can choose how you see them. And of course, one of the rules of engagement here is to let others be. You cannot change another person or how they think. To change the world, You must change yourself. The world exists exactly as it is, from your point of view, because of who you are now. You want it to change? Then you change first. The tasks are to master our thoughts, overcome the negative ones, fight the autopilot learnt, and rehearse negative thoughts that continue to chirp in our ears, by rehearsing new positive thought. Just hear them when they come and speak out against them. Say, look, that's not who I am anymore, and not where I'm going. That's the past. It is done now. God made us different. The world is filled with the most extraordinary different creations, and that's just this planet. Diversity is beautiful.